Hey, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. Today I'm going to do let's see, I think the volume's too high. Thanks for hanging out. Today I'm going to do a shrimp and grits crunch wrap. I love making shrimp and grits. It's like one of my favorite meals. I've been making it for a long time, making it with friends, and it's awesome. I think it's going to go really well in a crunch wrap because I'm going to make the grits like nice and cheesy, and it's going to sort of combine in the crunch wrap, give you like a classic crunch wrap flavor and feel with a little bit of a different presentation, I guess. So I just have some butter melting in this pan here, and I decided to add some jalapeno to the grits. And I'm not gonna put in the seeds of the jalapeno. I'm just gonna have the little bit of like jalapeno kick and flavor in with the butter and grits, just because it's like a great combination. And I'm hoping what's cool is the grits are gonna get like solid in the crunch wrap, but then when you heat it up, it's kind of like a burrito grilled cheese, I guess. So as I grill the crunch wrap itself, the grits will soften up again. So then when you bite in, it's gonna kind of like explode out. Always good to make food that explodes. Alex, let me know about the audio because I was unable to get my normal audio monitoring to work. Normally I can hear everything from the headphones. Literally, like every time streaming on Twitch, there's like a new adventure every single time. I don't know if you noticed my nice little my little border here that I made. Graphic design is my passion. So I'm only gonna give these a minute in the butter to actually get like the jalapeno flavor infused into the butter, but they don't need to go that long because they're gonna cook a little bit more. And in here is just some milk and stock. And I used I've been eating a little less meat and dairy. I mean, there's going to be plenty in this recipe, but what we have on hand usually is oat milk and an onion sort of like bouillon stock, so that's what's in here. But obviously use chicken stock and regular milk if that's what you have on hand. Normally in a non-stick like this, I would always just use wood, but when we add in the cornmeal to this, you want it to whisk it just for a minute to make sure there's no lumps in there. And the ratio is pretty easy to remember for making grits or polenta. It's 1 to 4. So I have 2 cups of liquid and a half cup of the cornmeal here. You only need this to just like very lightly start simmering, and then I'm going to add it in. And I'm putting the burner on over here so I can switch this over there when it's ready. Great, so just that little bit of extra attention right there is going to help so much later, so we don't have to deal with any lumps. As you can see, it was like barely simmering when I started, but now it's bubbling away pretty well. I'm turning it down, and this is just going to need to simmer lightly for about 20 minutes, and you want to stir it every couple minutes or so. So I'm just going to leave it on the back burner over here. While that's going, I'm going to make the shrimp portion for our Crunchwraps. And while we're here, I just want to shout out, every time I make something like Southern cuisine, I always use this book, Jubilee. If you don't have it, get it. Every recipe I've ever made from here comes out amazing. So I'm doing like a combination of what I know from general making shrimp and grits, the shrimp and grit recipe in here, but as well, I'm mixing in some of the cover recipe, which is barbecue shrimp, because every time I've made that, it's amazing, and it kind of has like the flavor that I'm looking for in this. When I first started making grits, like it feels like it's ready right away. I never realized that you actually had to cook it for like 20 minutes to a half an hour. So I'd always be eating it and it was like definitely gritty. I thought it was like how it was supposed to be because I had never had it at a restaurant before I started making it. I thought it was like more of an instant thing. I have an andouille sausage here. I think that sausage is probably the third most important ingredient in shrimp and grits. This sausage is specifically from Zatarain's, which I've worked with recently. So you may want to check out my jambalaya nachos I posted recently. Yes, of course I've seen My Cousin Vinny. Why? I haven't seen it in a while though. Is there a shrimp and grits reference? Is that literally something they say in the movie? I haven't seen it in so long. So I'm just going to let these simmer a little bit, and they're going to get some browning going. And what's also going to happen is the fat in the sausage is going to come out into the pan. And that's important because that's going to get like all over the shrimp and form like a really nice sauce for when these are in the crunch wraps. Here I have some, I think this is like paprika, oregano, thyme, smoked paprika specifically, and some chili flakes and black pepper, and some chopped parsley. The recipe usually calls for white wine, but we had rosé, so grab that. Thank you to Georgina for always keeping some wine on hand that I can use in recipes. So I can see that the butter here has turned almost like a little, there's a little bit of browning from the butter getting toasted, which is a great flavor, as well as the red sort of fat leaching out of the sausages. So I don't know if you can see it. And these are just some frozen shrimp that have been thawing. I always buy the shrimp with no tail, clean, deveined, all that stuff, because that to me is like my least favorite kitchen task. Hate doing it. Will always buy them like this. But you have to find a brand you like and like keep getting it, because I've gotten some that, I don't know, they leach out this weird material and they look all bumpy when you cook them, which isn't good. If that makes sense. These are almost getting to where I want. Thing is, like, you want these to be pretty much cooked because the shrimp is only going to take a few seconds to cook, really. Seconds, like minutes, but really seconds. I first wanted to make this into a burrito, but Crunchwraps have been sort of my tortilla eating device of choice lately. I mean, you get the crunch of a taco, but you have the structural integrity of a burrito. Yeah, but thanks for watching, guys. I know I haven't streamed in a couple weeks. Last week, I had a big deadline with my cookbook, so I was like too stressed to stream. And then the week before that, I was actually streaming, but doing like an MIT demonstration for some students and faculty and stuff. So, oh, Rich has joined the chat. You can always tell. I'm gonna add the shrimp in now. And I just thawed these in the fridge. But I rinse them off first just in case there's any like shell pieces around. But just rinsing them is like way better than having to actually clean them one by one and take all the veins out. And rinsing them also helps speed up the process. Yes, Rich, they are raw. Rich, I'm glad you're here because I was trying to think of when we made... Did we make shrimp and grits at Peter's house when we were watching the Treme season premiere of like way back? Because I think that's the first time I ever made it and had it. That sounds legit, yeah. I was wondering how he's doing lately. Last time I saw him, I was just walking down the street and he was getting out of a limo bus because he was the driver of it. Perfect. So now I'm going to add the wine and all these spices and everything. A lot of recipes will tell you to do the wine first, but I usually do the spices in the oils just to kind of help them infuse a little more and just like wake up, I guess, if you will. The spices have been just sitting in your cabinet for maybe 6 months, so they need a little life breathed into them. Does smell good. Yes, no seeds. I also took the parsley off the stem, so I guess you could say no stems, no seeds. I just want that to simmer for a minute to sort of just tighten up a little bit. While that's happening, I'm just going to chop up a few of these scallions. Great. I don't want to do that. Let this go anymore because I don't want to overcook the shrimp. And you can see that this is just about ready. Here, let me put it in there. I'm going to add a bunch of cheese to it. This is, I do want it pretty tight so that it stays in the, well, as Rich pointed out, the shrimp is wet. So this is going to balance if this is a little tight, and also it's going to help it stay in the crunch wrap better before we fold it up. This might seem weird, but I'm going to switch this to a flat pan that's cold, and that's going to help it become a little more solid and cool off quicker. Because if we put this into the crunch wraps while it's hot like this, the whole thing's just going to fall apart and be a mess. Can confirm shrimp is good. So just like if you're making any burrito, you're gonna want to maybe microwave this before you fold it up, or else it has more of a tendency to rip. But what I'm actually gonna do, this is shrimp is still kind of steaming, so you can also just like put it on top of the pan for a minute or two. Nice. Yeah, shrimp tacos are awesome. I've been doing a lot of shrimp and grits is so good because, like, first of all, like, no matter where you are, shrimp is pretty much coming to you frozen. So it's not like you're at an advantage if you're on the coast with a lot of other seafood. Not answering that, Rich. All right, so you can see that this is thickened up a bit, and that's gonna help us make this without it falling apart everywhere. So I'm gonna add a little of the grits first. And then make sure you're putting the andouille on there as well. And I'm just gonna put a spoon of this stuff on here, but not too much so you don't break the wrap. And I'm realizing you can't really see this, so I'm gonna switch that up. Now the crunch part of the Crunchwrap. A little more of that on top. Great. So make sure the sharp edges of your chips aren't on the edge, or it will like basically go right through the wrap, which just happened to me. That's what I'm going with, yeah, Crunchwrap, like Taco Bell style. I'm gonna make another one while that one cooks. Yes, it is better than Taco Bell. I once did have a lobster Crunchwrap in Portland, Maine. But I think the idea of the cheesy grits kind of being in there and holding it all together, and as I said earlier, sort of exploding out, is the key to this. Still getting used to this burner, so I'm burning it. Well, the good thing is that's why I have so many. Frida would only be so lucky to get a Crunchwrap. She only eats pure protein. Yeah, yeah. Plus, she's at daycare, so when she gets home, she's literally gonna just die. She falls asleep so fast. Little burnt. I already did turn it down. All shrimp is farm raised. Rich, I think you were there when I had that lobster crunch wrap, actually. Or were you just there for the ice cream after? In Portland after our wedding? Yeah, everyone else got lobster rolls. I was like, I have to try a lobster crunch wrap. All right, so the grits are even better of a texture right now than, and this is like what I was picturing when I thought of making this. So they're pretty solid. So you can actually put it together, and then later on, they'll melt while we're cooking it. Yeah, we were so hungry that weekend. We immediately got ramen when we got to Portland. This is still pretty hot, but it's not going to burn this time. All right, so grits first. So silent with the focus. Much better. Golden. Yeah, I'm not gonna need to make tacos for dinner because after I eat 3 Crunchwraps. I did put chips, Rich. Maybe if you paid attention. Instead of being so worried about I always do 2 layers of grits. Grits, shrimp, chips, grits. So I tried to press it earlier. You do want to press this, kind of like thinking about a grilled cheese. When you press it earlier, the grits are so solid, they're not really like conforming into the wrap itself. But now that it's cooked a little bit with the cover on, they're softened, and I can press it to the level that I want to. I think we need to get in a little closer for this. Heard a crunch. That was the previous one though, so it doesn't necessarily confirm or deny Rich's comments. It's too hot. So the awesome thing about putting the grits above and below is it really sort of like encases the shrimp and stuff in there. And I also love that when you add cheese to grits, like you don't have to add a ton, but the whole thing just tastes almost like melted cheese at that point. Did you get that crunch ASMR or no? This is great. Thanks, Rich. Great, so that's the recipe for today. I should be back next Thursday to stream again, and also you can follow me at TFIMB on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever else. So follow me here and check back for more videos Thursday afternoons.